Well, retro PlayStation fans, today I have a lot of cool stuff to share with you guys. Greetings gamers, my name is Johnny Retro and welcome back to another episode of Retro Raider. That's right, today I'm going to share with you guys my latest PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 pickups. I am a huge fan of the original PlayStation and the PlayStation 2 of course. As you guys know if you follow my channel, these were really the systems that I grew up with, during my childhood and my teenagehood days. And yeah, lately I did pick a couple of items from my retro PlayStation collection. I'm very excited with this video. I have a lot to share and to talk about with you guys. And yeah, this is probably going to be a longer video, but stick around guys because this is going to be fun. And by the way, if this is your first time here on the channel, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you won't miss a thing. Okay, without further ado, let's do this. Let's check out my latest PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 pickups right after this. Okay, let's start with these. I'm very excited in getting these for my collection. This is something that I don't usually collect for, but I had a great deal on these by my good friend Gilles from Retro2. I'll leave a link of Retro2's channel down below for you guys to check it out. Yeah, he found these, he made me a really excellent deal, and here's what we're talking about guys. I'm talking about promo games or promo discs. So what are these all about? Well, nowadays if we are going to review a game, right? We get a review code. If you are a YouTuber, a reviewer, if you write for a website or gaming magazine, whatever, you get the review code of the game, so you can play the game and review it. Back in the day, before the online days, you would get this, you would get the actual games, right? But these were not the final releases, these were review copies. So this is pretty much the game. If you find one of these, you have the game, right? But the thing is that these are quite collectible. I know for a fact that, for example, GTA San Andreas, right? A pretty inexpensive game on the PlayStation 2. Very common, it sold millions of copies, right? You can easily get the game, 100% complete with the manual, the map, etc. for what, 10 euros or so? The promo version of GTA San Andreas, guys, it's like 200. I'm not kidding. These are very, very common, but I mean, even the common ones are hard to get by. So this is what I got. I got the Golden Compets, right, from Sega. I got Ben 10 Ultimate Alien Cosmic Destruction, right here. Pro Evolution Soccer 5. I got the Pro Evolution Soccer 2009. Racing game right here, Just 2. And SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. And by the way, sorry for the glare, guys. I hope that you guys are seeing everything. And yeah, I mean, these are, like I said, quite collectible. It's pretty much the same thing. Again, it's the game, right? But these have, a story meaning to it, right? These were given to the press back in the day. I'm very happy to add these to my collection. Gilles, once again, thank you so much for the awesome deal, my friend. And in the future, I'm not gonna lie, I would love to have some more of these for my collection. Of course that I would love to get, the GTA ones. And probably my holy grail would be, of course, the Kingdom Hearts series. Okay, still on the PlayStation 2 and talk about collectibles. I got a bunch of these, right? What are these? These are flyers, these are warranties. This is the stuff that you usually get with a lot of games. So to put you guys into context, when we say that we have a CIB game, right, completed in box, usually we associate with, we have the box, right, or the case, we have the CD or the cartridge, and we have the manual. But if we are talking from a collectible point of view, right, a 100% complete game comes with the extra goodies. So that's what I have right here. I have promo flyers, for example. I have some really cool ones here. Check these out. These are from Sega. Yeah, this was promotional stuff, to advertise other games that were about to get released or previous releases also. Also have a couple of these from EA. I have these, for example. These in specific came from the UK, I believe. And yeah, these for example, came with certain stores, or they would sold with the game in certain stores. These are cool. Check these out. These are warranties right here, and these are in Portuguese, so these were national releases here in my country. I have a couple of postcards right here. I also have, the registration cards from Rockstar. Sorry, I have one, I have another one right here. So these will go with the GTA games for sure. More flyers right here, these were from gaming magazines. What else? I have stuff here from Acclaim. And yeah, these were just compliments to the game. Now, the thing is that, does this add value to the game, like, monetary value? Well, not really. In my opinion, one thing is to sell a game without the manual, right? Of course that if you're getting the game without the manual, you shouldn't pay, the full price. Or for example, in the GTA cases again, if you're getting the games without the maps, well, you shouldn't pay the full price in that situation also. But in this case it's different, because sometimes you would get these, other times you wouldn't. So I would say that it adds more collectible value to your games, right? But monetary value, not really. But me, well, I'm a Sony collector, so I'm very happy to add these extra goodies to my PlayStation collection. Okay, I have a lot to organize here later on, but now let's talk about the meat and potatoes of this video right here. The games. First one, for the PlayStation 1. A game that I always wanted to get, but I never did, I never got it, and I never finished the game. I only played this game on a demo. This is a sequel. I'm a huge fan of the original game. This was kind of a spiritual successor of a franchise, of one of my favorite franchises of all time, and I'm talking about Fighting Force. In this case, I finally got Fighting Force 2. Now, what is the deal of Fighting Force? Well, we're talking about a 3D beat-em-up game, right? And I believe that the team behind this game worked on the Streets of Rage series. And I believe that the first game was supposed to be Streets of Rage 4, right? The first Streets of Rage 3D game. But it was not the case, and in the end it turned out to be its own thing. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of the original game, but for some weird reason, I never got the sequel. Until now, and I finally have Fighting Force 2. I fire up the game, still haven't finished yet. My thoughts on it? Well, of course that it is not as nostalgic as the original one for me, but it's still a decent game. It is a fun 3D beat 'em up. Of course that we're talking about a PlayStation 1 game, so it aged for sure. And so far, I don't think that this one is as good as the original, but still, I had to have this on my collection. So yeah, I'm very happy to finally have the sequel of Fighting Force. Here it is, Fighting Force 2. Another one, and this time I'm going to pick two games at the same time, one for the PlayStation 1 and other for the PlayStation 2, because these are part of the same series, right? A series of fighting games that I did play a lot back in the day when I was a kid, but I don't own the originals in my collection. And this is a set, or this is a series that I would love to get on the set, right? To have all of its releases. And I'm talking about Guilty Gear. Here we have the first original game in the white box, and all of these are 100% complete, guys, with the manuals, everything. This is the ground zero of Guilty Gear, great 2D fighting series, and these are, kind of turning out into hidden gems, I would say. I mean, we are going to have Guilty Gear Strive very soon, and I can't wait to put my hands on those games. But the thing is that, the Guilty Gear series never got, that popular as stuff like, Mortal Kombat, or Street Fighter, Tekken, or even the King of Fighters and other Neo Geo fighting titles. And it's a great series, and I think that it doesn't get the love that it deserves. I think that this series kind of skipped, under the radar to a lot of fighting game fans. And this, for the PlayStation 2, this is kind of the black sheep of the series, and I'm talking about Guilty Gear Suka. Well, this was not technically part of the main series, this was kind of a spin-off, but it wasn't very popular, and yeah, it has a couple of problems, I will admit that, but I do enjoy the game. I think that the main problem with this one is that, it doesn't have a lot of depth when it comes to the story and the background of the characters, right? But again, we're talking about a spin-off. But the major problem, and this is a tag game, right, is that in order to turn, right, to turn your character within the battle, you have to press a button. So yeah, that mechanic doesn't make that much sense, and that turned off a lot of gamers, a lot of players, but you get used to it, pretty quickly. But still, it's a Guilty Gear game. I love these characters, I love the animations, I love the fighters, and yeah, I'm very happy with these two first additions to my Guilty Gear collection. I don't know if you guys ever heard me talking about Crash Bandicoot, but yeah, you probably did if you follow my channel. Crash Bandicoot, I mean, my favorite mascot of all time, one of my favorite video games of all time, and I did pick two Crash Bandicoot games that are not part of the main series. The first one was kind of an upgrade because I had the Platinum version and it wasn't complete, This one comes with the manual, and this was the original release of Crash Bash. Am I a huge fan of party games? Well, no. But I mean, we're talking about Crash Bandicoot here. And this is kind of a fun game, especially if you have, the 4-player adapter, because you can play this in 4-player. And yeah, in that situation, it turns out to be a very fun game, actually. The second one, and here's the deal. When it comes to Crash Bandicoot, I'm a huge fan of the original trilogy. Now quadrilogy, because Crash Bandicoot 4 was awesome. But you guys remember the sequels on the PlayStation 2, and those sequels almost kill the franchise, right? I'm talking about, Wrath of Cortex and moving on. This one, I did play this game, but I never did care much about it. But yeah, now I have it on the collection. I'm talking about Crash Twinsanity. It is not a bad game, right? I mean, if you want to explore the Crash Bandicoot games on the PlayStation 2, this is probably the best one. This was the first time that we get the chance to play with Cortex, the main villain, on a main Crash Bandicoot game. Keep in mind that this is no longer a game part of the main series, right, when it comes to the lore. But back in the day, yeah, this was technically the 5th installment on the original Crash Bandicoot series. Now looking back, I mean, it is not the same thing as the originals, right? But it's not a bad game, it's actually a fun game. So again, if you want to explore more of Crash Bandicoot, aside from the main trilogy, or again, quadrilogy, this is a decent title. It is a good title. And I mean, it's Crash Bandicoot. I had to have it. I'm a Crash Bandicoot fan. Okay, now we're moving on to PlayStation 2 only. Well, this is one of those games that, sometimes I like to collect games that they are bad, but they're good because they're bad, or there's something special to it. I'm talking about Spiderman Web of Shadows. You've probably heard about this game on the PlayStation 3, right? And it's one of my personal favorite Spider-Man games ever. I love the story, I love the open world environment, because the theme of the game are the Clintar, right? I'm talking about Venom, Cartridge, those type of characters. But then they kind of re-released the game on the PlayStation 2, but it turned out to be a completely different game. This is more of a side-scroller beat-em-up, right? And it was kind of inspired, I believe, in previous Spider-Man games, for example, the ones on the Mega Drive. But when you have Web of Shadows on the PlayStation 3, and then you have this, yeah, this was a very poor adaptation. But still, is it that bad? Well, in my opinion, I mean, it is. It's not a great game, but it's one of those games where, for me, it is fun to have this version, because I'm such a huge fan of the original on the PlayStation 3 that I just had to pick this for my PlayStation 2 collection. Another beat 'em up, and let me tell you guys, this is a true hidden gem on the PlayStation 2. Here we have Dragon Sisters. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I've never heard about this game before. The thing was that I got this on a bundle, and I just decided to keep it because I got so intrigued by it, and before I play it, I watched some reviews and gameplay. After that, I just fired the game on my PlayStation 2, and I had a blast with it. It's a beat-em-up game, very futuristic, very fun. The level design, it's probably my problem with this game, because it's very, very repetitive. But I mean, the gameplay is very fun, and gameplay, it's what a good gameplay or a fun gameplay, it's what you're really looking for in any beat-em-up game, right? And I mean, it's not super expensive, nothing like that, but I believe that it is kind of a rare game on the PlayStation 2, so if you find a copy for a decent price, just get it. Moving on. You guys are probably going to think that I'm a pervert, but let's be honest. If you were a teenager, right, in the early 2000s, you played this game. I don't care, you did play this game. And I'm talking about the one and only Playboy Mansion. Is this game a little bit perv? Well, maybe. Is it political incorrect these days? Well, probably, but I don't care, because it is fun. It's just filled with humor, and who doesn't like that? I mean, this was one of those games that, back in the day, everybody played. Everybody. If you were a boy, if you were a girl, if you were, a Sims fan, I don't care. You played this game. You are just probably too shy to admit it. But just for fun, let me know. Admit it down below, guys. Did you play this game back in the day when it was released? The PlayStation 2 version, the PC version? Share it down below. Did you play it? You don't need to share what you did after you played the game, right? And we know that a lot of gamers played this game with just one hand. But yeah, it's the Playboy Mansion. So what is this game all about? Well, you're running the Playboy Mansion, pretty much, right? The Playboy bunnies, if you will. In the end, it is kind of a Sims game, right? It definitely draws a lot of influences from The Sims, but I don't think that it is vulgar. I really don't think so. I think that it is just fun. It's a funny game. Is it a great game? Well, no, it is not a great game. But again, it's fun. And I did try it out and I had a blast with it. So yeah, very fun throwback to my teenagehood days. The Playboy Mansion on the PlayStation 2. Speaking about fun and comedy, well, this is a franchise that I never got really into. I'm talking about Outlaw, and here we have the Outlaw Volleyball remixed. Yeah, the Outlaw series, it's kind of a sports series, right, but filled with comedy. This is, of course, a volleyball game. As simple as it is, it actually turns out to be a very good and very fun, volleyball sports game, right? But, we're talking about the Outlaw series here, so it comes with a twist. It's just mayhem. It's mayhem. It's chaos. You have fights in the middle of the game. And the characters, I said this previously about, political incorrect, right? But, some of these characters, these days, I don't know if people were going to put them on a game. It's your stereotypes, right? The hot chick, the redneck. But it's video games, guys. It's video games. It's just fun here. And this version on the PlayStation 2 remixed, I believe that the original one was released on the Xbox and PC. I could be wrong about that. And this one on the PlayStation 2 was released a little bit later. And it comes with a couple of extras, like 2 characters, I believe. And it is just a more complete version overall. And the narrative is by Steve Carell, so of course that you're going to have some laughs with this one.
Hey, losing a point isn't everything, but in this case it just plain sucks.
The next one is a racing game, and I'm not very much into racing games or, the real, simulator racing games, right? But this one kind of follows the formula of games like, Crash Team Racing and Super Mario Kart, right? And I'm talking about Cartoon Network Racing. I grew up with Cartoon Network, right? Back in the day when we got cable here in Portugal, as a child, this was what I was watching, right? This was my television right here. And we didn't have subtitles back in the day, so this was a huge contribution to my English. And I knew about this game, but I never played it, and I just had a blast with it. It's very fun. Again, it follows the same formula as games like, Crash Team Racing or Super Mario Kart, right? But it's within the Cartoon Network Imaginarium. We don't have all of the cartoons here, but I think that we have the, the most iconic ones, at least for me. Dexter's Lab, Dexter and Dee Dee, my personal favorites. We also have Powerpuff Girls, Johnny Bravo, Courage the Cowardly Dog, and it's just fun. It's a throwback to my childhood. And let me tell you guys, this game, the graphics of this game, are some of the best graphics that I've ever seen on a PlayStation 2 game. I also believe that it was a late release. It didn't got a lot of positive, reviews back in the day, but I do believe that it is a fun game, so I'm very, very happy to add this to my PlayStation 2 collection. Down to the last 2. This one is from Capcom, and this was a game that I used to own back in the day, but I got rid of that because back in the day I traded the game because I didn't enjoy it, right? And it's curious because we're talking about an RPG here, and you guys know that I'm a huge fan of RPGs. A lot of people don't know about this game, and I'm talking about Chaos Legion. I totally remember back in the day what got me into this game was actually the back cover, right? Check out the characters right here. Back in the day, it reminded me a lot of Final Fantasy, and I grew up with Final Fantasy. Turns out that it is more action-driven, and when it comes to the graphics, right? Great graphics, great looking game. But it's very repetitive, right? And the gameplay is not that fun. And I also remember that it was a challenging game. This game is hard. Nowadays, I kind of feel that, the Soul series probably got some influences from it. Maybe not. And it has been years, more than 10 years since the last time that I played this game. But now looking back, I can see some, some Soul series. Some Soul connections between this game and the Soul series. So why did I got it? Well, again, I got it on the bundle, and again, it has been years since I last saw, since I grabbed a copy of Chaos Legion, and I just had to get this back to my collection, and I really want to give another try to this game. Down to the last one, and this is without a doubt, from the whole bundle, the one that got me most excited for. Speaking about RPGs, the good and old Squaresoft, right? When we think about Squaresoft, we think about RPGs. But Squaresoft did have some games that were not RPGs. And usually, they are not very good. And this game does have a very bad rep. A game that I've never played. This was actually the first time that I grabbed a physical copy of it. Never played it, on emulation or even on the demo, anything. But it's a game that I always wanted to try. And I'm talking about the one and only, The Bouncer. That is right, a full-on 3D beat 'em up by Squaresoft. Why does it get a bad rap? Well, I really don't know. I think that I totally remembered that, when the retro gaming scene started on YouTube, each time that you saw a review of this game, it was a bad review. So I don't know, I thought that it was kind of a trend, hating on this game. But yeah, I can't speak for myself. I still haven't played it yet, but I'm planning to. I'm planning to play this game and to make a review for you guys. Again, the characters remind me a lot of Final Fantasy and also a little bit of Kingdom Hearts, and it looks fun to me, it looks like a very fun beat 'em up game. I note that there's a lot of cutscenes in here, there's a lot of story, and of course there's a lot of story. I mean, we're talking about Squaresoft here. But I do love the character models. I think that we can pick, different characters, and different characters will give a different outcome to the story, I believe. There's also a versus mode where you can play, against a friend in a more traditional fighting game. So yeah, it's just one of those games that I always wanted to try, and I will give this one a try, and for sure I will review this game on my channel, even if I don't like it. And there you go, guys, this was the video. These were my latest PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 pickups. And please let me know your thoughts down below, guys, your thoughts on my, my recent retro PlayStation pickups. And here is a little suggestion for you guys, especially on the PlayStation 2, if you want to start collecting or if you want to fill a little bit more your PlayStation 2 shelf, this is the right time to do it. I really don't believe that, especially PlayStation 2, I don't believe that it is going to be as expensive as, NES or Super Nintendo or even Mega Drive and Genesis, but some games are starting to get a little bit high in price. Still not crazy, but it's starting to happen. So my suggestion as a collector is to, grab the exclusives, grab the fighting games, the shooters, the RPGs. In a couple of years, those are going to be a little bit more hard to get, right? Even though the PlayStation 2 is the best selling home console of all time. Even though all that, it's starting to happen, again, with some titles. But yeah, much love for the PlayStation 1 and the PlayStation 2. I'm very happy to add these to my collection. This was the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you have the extra time, feel free to follow me on social media. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And as always, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of the gaming community, and game a lot.